Stenhouse in Daytona, last race for Fantana. Hendrick gets in trouble for louvers that ain't stuck. Chase's leg is broken, Rowdy is awoken. Hamlin wrecks Chastain, points are docked. Chase gets suspended, Cody apprehended for strangulation, Aussie invasion. Racing at Wilkesboro, street race in Chicago, SVG victory, Haley free agency. We didn't start the engines, it was always burning since the car's been turning. We didn't start the engines, no, we didn't ignite it. We tried to fly with it. Byron wins 6 times. Bowman has a fractured spine. Busher hits a hot streak. Roush is back. Ross lost the points lead. Hendrick calls him unclean. Punches Noah Gragson, who was cancelled and sacked. Rainy Monday Martin takes the regular season. Kevin Harvick final year. Stuart Haas loses beer. Bubba McDowell both make it somehow. Beat out Chase and Bowman, who has trouble with Suarez. We didn't start the engines, it was always burning since the car's been turning. We didn't start the engines, no, we didn't ignite it. We tried to fight with it. Seatbelt raises hell, but the brakes take him out. Hamlin chokes again, this time power steering. Truex underwhelms, has the playoffs from hell. There goes Joe Gibbs racing, a title wasn't the case then. Ryan Blaney, YRB, driver for Team Penske, like his 2-time teammate, gets out in the round of 8. Roughs up Chastain for getting in his effing way. First ship from Ohio, how far can Blaney go? We didn't start the engine, it was always burning since this car's been turning. We didn't start the engine, but we didn't ignite it. We tried to fight with it. We didn't start the engine, it was always burning since the car's been turning. We didn't start the engine, no, we didn't ignite it. We tried to fight with it.
There it is. One more time. We had to do it again because it was so nice. We didn't start the engines. Another classic for Michael Massey. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this special edition of the Happy Hour podcast, the Happy Hour Award Show. I am your host of this evening, Trey Lyle. Welcome on in. Before I introduce the two guys who did not get the memo about proper attire for the award show, I'm going to go with singer, songwriter, and performer, Mr. Dapper Michael Massey. Massey, thank you for understanding what it's like to be at an award show. Also, great song to summarize the year. We didn't get to talk about it because you weren't here last week, but it was a perfect summary of 2023.
Thank you. Yeah, that one, actually, I heard that song, We Didn't Start the Fire, like months ago. It was like, I got to end the season with that one. But I still wrote the thing like the day of the show. So quick turnaround. I actually got the memo for dressing up, pulled out the bow tie, got the suspenders on. Meanwhile, these guys look like they just, we gave them money on the street and then said, hey, come on the podcast.
Yeah, Tom did this at the last minute, so he doesn't have an excuse. We'll get to him in a second. The guy who doesn't even know what a suit is, Brian Nolan is also here. Obviously, no Bring the Heat this week, so we allowed him to be on Happy Hour. Brian, are you excited to give out some awards for the first time? I think this is going to be the most prestigious award show in the history of award shows.
Screw the Oscars, screw the Grammys. This is where it is at.
This is better than the banquet. Let's put it that the national banquet.
But it's happy to be on. I've only wore a suit once in my life, and that was because it was my wedding. And so that is the epitome of suits I will wear. I will dress up nice for the banquet, the actual banquet. But for this is what you're going to get, whether you like it or not, Trey. So sorry, buddy.
Well, we got his permission to do this, and I'm talking about the boss man, Tom Bowles, editor-in-chief. This whole episode is on our YouTube page. So before I get to Tom, make sure you like and subscribe this video. Comment down below your thoughts on our award winners. Like and subscribe wherever you get the podcast as well. Leave us that 5-star review because we will have this also in audio form. But we'll bring in Tom.
Tell us if you want Brian Nolan to stop making that face, because I would love it.
Like and subscribe. Like and
Also,
subscribe.
comment if you believe Brian should have dressed up for this. The answer is simple. It's yes. Tom, how are you doing? Are you ready to celebrate this season?
Can I give out a first award?
Yeah, go right ahead.
Heading into this year, I always knew Massey played guitar, but it was one of those things that you kind of knew about somebody and you didn't really think too much of it. You were like, oh yeah, this cool skill that he's got, and I didn't really think twice. And he's come out and basically become a Grammy Award winning singer this year. I mean, look at every week, lyrics on point, great parodies, Michael Massey turning into a musician before our eyes. It's crazy.
I don't know if I describe him as that, but he's something. Should we get right into it? It is time for the Front Stretch Happy Hour Award Show. Thank you. Our first award of the evening is quite simple. It is Driver of the Year. I think this will lead to a contentious debate, but our nominees are for Driver of the Year, the regular season champion, Martin Truex Jr., the leader in wins, William Byron, good old Dennis Hamlin, and of course, your 2023 Cup Series champion, Ryan Blaney. Gentlemen, who do you think is your Driver of the Year? And why is it William Byron the correct answer?
I agree with Trey. It is William Byron, the guy that won the most races on the year, was the factor the most. Let me say.
Not just that. This is from Trey Ryan, 99. Also great name and shows why he's smart. Byron had the most wins, most top fives, most top 10s, most top 15s, most top 25s, if you want to go that far, best average finish, most stage wins, most consecutive top threes, most consecutive top fives, most consecutive top 15s, races with the most laps led, best average finish in the playoffs, best average driver rating, most playoff points scored throughout the season, and most points that were scored in the playoffs. So you two hooligans, why do you want to go with Ryan Blaney?
Here's the
He
thing.
won a championship.
Yep. And got over the hump in a way we haven't seen him get over the hump in several years. Now, I understand that he didn't have the strongest year and then got hot in the round of 8. But there was a certain guy named Chase Elliott that didn't have the strongest year in 2020 and got hot in the round of 8, ended up a champion. I don't know if anybody would have battled with him. Yes, Kevin Harvick had the wins that year, but Chase won his first championship. I think it's a very similar situation here where Byron had a breakout season, but you look at how Ryan Blaney has struggled over the last couple of years and just been that driver that Kyle Petty came out and compared him to Casey Kane at the beginning of the year, said he would never reach this championship level that he ended up with in November. So I think you got to go with Blaney, and I think that his long-term impact of being champion is going to be bigger than some of the champions we've seen in the last 5 or 6 years.
Brian, anything else to add to that?
No, Bowles is the sounding board. I just look back, sit pretty, and agree with them.
All right, Massey, your rebuttal.
Yeah, you compared him to 2020 Chase Elliott. Was Chase Elliott, you mentioned Kevin Harvick, was Chase Elliott the driver of 2020? Absolutely not. Kevin Harvick had one of the greatest seasons in NASCAR history, was clearly driver of the year that year. Same goes for Byron this year.
And with the Winston Cup points, William Byron would have been the champion. And that's a more long.
William Byron, or not William Byron, Ryan Blaney had like 4 or 5 good races the entire year. Byron had
4
more
or
wins.
5. Oh, that is so underselling him.
Amen, Bulls. Amen.
Especially in a year where Ford underperformed. It was,
Gentlemen, this is gentlemen. We will now go to our committee. I won't reveal his name because he may or may not appear later in this podcast for our tie. So I will hit the drum roll. 2023 Front Stretch Happy Hour Driver of the Year is William Byron.
That's crap. Absolute
Guys,
crap.
congratulations to good old William Byron as he is our 2023 Driver of the Year. And Trey played the wrong sound effect.
what does William get? Does he lose followers? Does he get canceled?
I don't know. I think he gets the fact that he is the first ever person to become the Driver of the Year. And he gets this great left, He plays the right sound effect. Let's move on. Moving to our next award, Crew Chief of the Year. Our nominees are Rudy Fugle, Chris Gabehart, Jonathan Hassler, and Cliff Daniels. Gentlemen, anybody want to who do you think deserves this award?
I think that what Rudy did with Byron, and I know it's kind of undercuts my Blaney argument a little bit, but Blaney winning the championship, I think, was more about Blaney than anything else. What Rudy has done with Byron in terms of revitalizing his career, when even Chad Knaus couldn't get Byron to the next level, I mean, William deserves a ton of credit for maturing and learning how to drive at some of these racetracks. But you got to really give credit to Rudy in terms of just mastering everybody at Hendrick. I mean, even Cliff Daniels, I would say he was better than Cliff throughout most of the year and getting that 2014 to the top.
Yeah, I got Rudy too. I mean, just the way that he's developed and matured Byron. He definitely deserves this award.
To quote the movie Rudy.
Yes, so it is unanimous. Rudy Fugle, you are the Front Stretch Happy Hour Award Crew Chief of the Year. Moving to our next award, Happy Hour Moment of the Year. For Front Stretch, it's promotions. Brian got promoted. I got promoted. And for this award, we're going to a guy who also just got promoted. Our special correspondent, Captain Dalton Hopkins.
What's up, everyone? Captain Dalton Hopkins here. Obviously, I still can't be on Happy Hour, and I miss it so much. But in the meantime, Brian Nolan reached out to me and sort of giggled, snorted, / yelled at me to pick an award for this year's Front Stretch Awards on Happy Hour. So, without further ado, this is the award for the Moment of the Year. So, there's some pretty good nominees on this list. So, number 1, it's going to be Michael McDowell's win at the Indianapolis Road Course. What a special win that was. And then number 2, we have Ricky Stenhouse Jr.'s win, the Daytona 500, another underdog winner this year. The third one is, of course, the NASCAR Cup Series street racing for the first time in Chicago. What an amazing event that was as well. First time for the Cup Series. And then, last but most certainly not least, North Wilkesboro being a returning short track to the NASCAR Cup Series and the Truck Series as well. What a special moment that was for longtime legacy fans and new ones as well. So, without further ado, the winner of this year's Moment of the Year is the Chicago Street Course Race. And honestly, I have to say, I could not agree more. There were some great moments this year. Yes, North Wilkesboro was amazing. The racing was a little lackluster, but North Wilkesboro was a great way to return to a racetrack. The Stenhouse's win was very great for him and that team as well. Michael McDowell earning a win at the road course, but I think the Chicago Street Race tops them all, mostly because there's just those 3 key factors in that. You have, first off, the viewership, one of the highest rated races in NASCAR, other than the Daytona 500 in years. It broke records, and I can honestly understand why, because the second thing, look at it. It is an amazing looking scene. You have the street lamps overhead, cars racing under trees, passing through a park, it was an amazing venue to look at. And then, of course, there's number 3, the winner, Shane Van Gisbergen, coming out of nowhere, breaking so many records, decades-old records, of becoming the first driver to win in his very first start in the NASCAR modern era, in his very first Cup Series start in the modern era. And, of course, he's a Kiwi. Very first race for a Kiwi, and he wins the race in his very first start for Trackhouse Racing. What a feel-good event that was. What a great story it was, and I'm very much looking forward to going back there next year. But without further ado, my time here is done. Thanks for watching, folks. I'm going to send it back to y'all at Happy Hour.
Man, that was bittersweet to watch. Miss you, Dalton. Miss you a lot. It was good to get you in there to do the moment of the year. But this was the clear choice. Yeah, obviously, we had Artie on for our post-Chicago street course race. He gave some good perspective on it. But you three were there. I was not. Overall, summarize that kind of moment. I think it had to be the only choice.
Yeah, you were there, Tom. What'd you think?
I was photoshopped into the picture.
Oh yeah, that's right. Two people were there, and it's Brian and Massey.
Trey has problems counting sometimes.
I do, and they put you in Alex Gintz puts you in so many photos. I forget where you actually are sometimes.
But like you said, Brian and I were there, and it was such a cool event.
Rainy. It was so rainy though.
I know. Because that's the thing. It was, even with all that rain, it was still really cool. So imagine it without the rain this year.
Like, we're taking you guys behind the curtain, but I had to get almost a new wallet. I had to get a new laptop charger. Almost had to get a new backpack. Had to get new shoes because they were so rain drenched. That's how bad it was. They got like 4 inches of rain that day alone, and they still ran that race because magically it stopped raining, and so they got to able to start it. Incredible. I still don't get it.
Yeah, and like Dalton said, the winner adds to that as well. In the style in that he won it. It's not, he didn't dominate the race. That final run, he went from 18th to 1st. And then like the slide job he pulled on Justin Haley. Haley crosses him over, he passes him back, and then he passes him finally and goes on to win the race. Like, it was, everything came together except for the weather to make it like a perfect weekend.
Should we move to our next award? Actually, before we do that, I would like to take a moment to acknowledge our sponsor of this podcast. This episode of Happy Hour is presented by Raceface Digital. Raceface Digital is a community for race fans and collectors to collect, buy, sell, and trade digital MP4 collectible racing cards. Raceface Digital is designed to give all grassroots racers in all series a chance to promote their brand and connect with fans in a digital world. Visit racefacedigital.com. I want to thank Raceface Digital for sponsoring this podcast. Massey was doing some signs there. Raceface. I get it now. Oh, good.
Jesus Christ. My God.
Thank you, Raceface Digital.
Thank you. Thank you for paying Tom's lofty salary that he doesn't pay us. All right, moving to our Raceface. Moving to our next topic. I think this is a fun one. Fight/feud of the year. Obviously, some clear nominees. Noah and Ross for their fight, actual fight. Ross threw hands. A pair that threw hands last year, but seemed to rekindle. I don't want to say rekindle the love, but rekindle the relationship. Ty Gibbs and Sam Mayer, obviously at Watkins Glen. And then 2 for good old Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson, multiple instances this year. And Denny Hamlin and Chase Elliott, obviously Chase Elliott wrecking Denny Hamlin. He'll be in another category. That moment will be in another category a little bit later in our show. But gentlemen, I feel like this is a clear choice. I'm going to go ahead and hit the drum roll and announce the award, and we will react to it. The winner for the Happy Hour Award for Feud/Fight of the Year Denny Hamlin and Kyle Larson. Obviously, the spring Kansas race. You have the incident at Pocono. It was clear, I guess they're friends, but this was the feud on the track this year. Two of the best going at it, and Denny seeming to be very aggressive with Kyle Larson on the racetrack this year.
That was my only issue with it, is that typically when we talk about a feud, you have people that really aren't friends off the racetrack. They're people that genuinely hate each other. It's not like that with Denny and Kyle, but Denny was a whole new driver this year, in my opinion. I think he was just like, I have the speed to win the championship. Ross screwed me at Martinsville with a move I didn't expect, and I should have gotten him back last year, and I didn't. So I'm just going to be super aggressive this year. I don't care who I piss off. I don't care what I do. As long as I make the championship race and then have a chance to win it, then I get my championship, because I didn't do that last year and I paid the price. So that's kind of what my perspective on Denny was this year. And Kyle had like a weird year in which he was also a little hyper aggressive, where he crashed out of as many races as he won, 8 DNFs, more than the races he won. Like, if he had won the championship, that would have been the most DNFs for anybody, I want to say, that won a championship in over 20 years. So, both guys were really pushing it to the limit, and when they ran into each other, it didn't go well.
Yeah, I think that's the right pick, just because, okay, Denny and Chase, been there, done that, right? Ty and Sam Mayer, been there, done that. It's still very entertaining when those guys get into it, but it's not new. This being between friends, I did consider Ross and Noah, because that was a huge viral moment for
That was an actual fight.
Right.
It was a one-sided fight.
Yeah.
Still a fight, though.
But that incident was in a vacuum. It happened that 1 week, and then not long after that, Noah wasn't even in the Cup Series the rest of the year. So it didn't build into anything, especially with Ross is up front. The 42 at the time was struggling. Larson, you knew they were going to be racing each other the rest of the year. And it wasn't the first, they ran in at Kansas and then again at Pocono. So it had some build up to it. And the fact that they are friends. I will throw an honorable mention. Matt Kraft and Nick Sanchez, Talladega. This was another actual fight.
Frontstretch.com.
And what organization, captured that video?
That'll be frontstretch.com on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/frontstretch. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe. Like and subscribe.
That's called. See, I teed that right up, Tom. That's why you hired me. I just tee it up for everyone else to hit home runs. That's why I'm here.
Until ChatGPT comes along for next year.
Well, luckily they can't talk on a podcast. They can spell all they want, which I can't do. So go for that. Let's get colorful, shall we? Color scheme. You want to call it livery? You want to call it paint scheme? Whatever you want to call it. Color scheme of the year. 2311 had some bangers, I will say. They get the first two nominees. The Grimace and Hamburglar cars, and then obviously what they hit at Phoenix. If you are a nerd like me, you loved it. Star Wars. I think the sentimental pick of the year was the 29 car for Kevin Harvick at North Wilkesboro. And then obviously, if this is the best NASCAR movie, in my opinion, the Talladega Nights car. Shout out to Kevin Harvick, by the way. I don't think we can count this in the award show because he bought Ricky Bobby's house. But the Talladega Nights schemes with Chase Briscoe and Ryan Preece, that was awesome, which was at the fall Talladega race. These are pretty good, gentlemen. What do you want to pick for that?
I could lead off, I guess. I'm a big Star Wars nerd. I like it like Trey, so that's got to be my pick. Just because, it looked Bubba's car looked just like an X-wing. It was beautiful, but then the commercial with Mark Hamill, Luke Skywalker himself, that just set it over the edge.
And someone got to interview R2-D2.
Yeah, I talked to legendary actor R2-D2. You can watch that on the Front Stretch YouTube page as well. So, yeah, there's some more.
So that's why you've been so for this. Recency bias.
Bulls, what is your pick?
I really wanted Ricky Bobby Ricky. How could you not pick the Talladega Nights car? Legendary. Will Ferrell, legendary. Movie, legendary. Made it the peak of NASCAR's popularity. Anytime that Wonder Bread car comes out, amazing.
Brian, your pick?
Talladega Nights. That was my all-time favorite movie growing up, and getting to see those cars in real with my own two eyes at Talladega, it was a dream come true for me. So I got to go with that one.
Well, I'm guessing we're going to committee again for this pick. We are going back to our special committee. So drum roll, because I'm going with Star Wars. So and our winner, it is the Talladega Nights schemes from Talladega. Cal Naughton Jr.
I thought you said Star Wars at first. I was like, oh wait, what?
No, I said Talladega Nights because that's what our special correspondent who showed up earlier in the podcast, Dalton Hopkins, he broke our tie. That's how this is working here. Okay, Brian, pay attention.
That was uncalled for. Absolutely uncalled for.
Let's move on. This is a joyous time. Let's give him some more applause. Yay! Woo! Congratulations, this prestigious award show. That was really loud. Sorry, everyone. All right. Moving on. Race of the year. The nominees are Spring, Kansas, the Coca-Cola 600. The last race at Fontana. Moment of silence, of course, for that track. And the Daytona Cutoff Race. Gentlemen, what is your choice for this one? Tom, you want to go first?
There's some sentimentality around Fontana, right? Because it's now been torn down. We don't really know if there's going to be a track there or not. They say that eventually they want to build a track. Steve Phelps was somewhat committal on that, but not fully committal at Phoenix. So we just don't know. And that's such an important market for NASCAR, and the racing there for the last decade was completely different than the racing for the first 10 or 15 years there, which was miserable. So I'm kind of partial to Fontana just because of the sentimental value.
Okay. Brian?
Got to go Fontana. I mean, that's the track I've been to the most times besides Sonoma, and seeing that's not going to be there anymore is a little sad. And I mean, the racing was amazing the past few years. So I got to go with that one.
Y'all be changing your votes from what we talked about ahead of time. I gotta go with the Coca-Cola 600.
Thank you, Massey. How are them two agreeing with everything, and you and I agreeing with everything?
They're like 10-second Adam over there. Can't remember.
Okay, that is absolutely uncalled for.
What we talked about before the pre-show.
Well, you know, when you put on a suit and tie, suddenly you get all stuck up, and suddenly your way is it's your way or the highway. I see.
Can he explain his point, sir?
Yeah, let me explain. It's first off Crown Jewel. That's a point over a lot of them. Longest race of the year. It's a holiday weekend, and then it was really good racing. Like back-to-back years, Coca-Cola 600. It's been one of the best races on the schedule.
And it had a viral moment.
Had the moment of Denny and Chase that we talked about already as one of the potential feuds of the year, and then you had Ryan Blaney. That was one out of his 4 or 5 good races on the year. So just great race this year. I'm looking forward to the next year's already.
I agree with you. I think it's the Coca-Cola 600. So I guess we have to go to committee again.
All these
and the winner, the Front Stretch Happy Hour Award for Race of the Year, is the Coca-Cola 600.
No, it's
a good race. It was a good race.
Say that again?
It was
Both
a good
times
race.
They went to committee. They didn't pick us. They went with the other.
They picked you the last time. It's been
last
coming 3 times. It's been to committee.
The race wasn't even that good.
Listen, it's the last race, and I won't say Could you imagine if I called Fontana an iconic venue? The comments would just start popping up right now. Pop, 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 pop. What the heck did he just say? But I mean, it was on the NASCAR schedule for 25 years. And with the next gen car that really favored intermediates, it was a really good racetrack the last 2 years in the next gen. It wasn't as good as the
It's a
2022
really good
race.
racetrack right now is Charlotte Oval. We still get it.
Fontana was better last year.
Moving to the opposite end of that, the dud of the year. We have Watkins Glen, Spring Martinsville. I guess a track that Brian loves is Sonoma, and Spring Phoenix. Gentlemen, what do you think?
I'll go Watkins Glen. I mean, that thing was boring. It had the one caution for Chase Elliott, running out of gas. So that was kind of funny. But the rest of the race, like, everybody stayed in the spot they were. I can't remember the stat exactly because it was months ago now, but it was like the top 8. Nobody changed position like the last 30 laps or something like that. And it was just, I mean, it was a parade. If I wanted to watch a parade like that, I'd just go to New York City for the Macy's Thanksgiving Day parade in a couple weeks for Thanksgiving. So boring. They ruined Watkins Glen, one of the best road courses on the schedule.
Yeah, it was just, I don't remember anything from that besides Chase Elliott running on gas. So yeah, it was boring. I agree.
I fell asleep when Massey talked about it.
Same.
Hey, look at us agreeing. That deserves some applause. And so does our winner. The Happy Hour Award for Dud of the Year is Watkins Glen. Congratulations, Watkins Glen. Moving to our next award, it is the Interview of the Year / Quote of the Year. Our nominees: Caleb Costner calls Sean Higurani an absolute turd. You can check that interview out at frontstretch.com's YouTube channel. Obviously from Homestead, Blaney calling Hamlin a hack. A Ryan Priest's comments post Dega crash, just seeing that face, him taking his glasses off, of course. And then we have a bonus is Mr. Ken Schrader about Paul Tracy during SRX. But gentlemen, I think I'm just going to present the winner. We discussed a little bit of this beforehand. I'm just going to present the winner, let it play out, and let's present our winner for Interview / Quote of the Year.
I beat your favorite driver.
He beat their favorite driver. Congratulations, Denny. You didn't win the championship, but you won this, the Happy Hour Award for Interview of the Year. That had to be the clear choice. I mean, that was one of the best drop the mic moments we've seen in NASCAR.
Oh, absolutely. And it's kind of funny to hear, looking back, how Denny was like, this is our year. Look how well we're performing in round 1. It's difficulty of the elimination style system, right? Every round is a reset. Every round is completely different. And all you need is one bad race in a round. You're out.
There we have it. And let's any other thoughts on that? I think we had a good consensus going in.
Yeah, we're good. I just thought it was funny. That part did not age well about it. This is our year. But
Yeah.
Maybe next year's
I
year.
think maybe next year will be his year, but he has to beat your favorite driver to do that. Best signing of 2023. Unfortunately, we cannot pick Trey Lyle for that because I am not a part of the NASCAR Cup Series. I'll just get rid of all of you and keep doing the award show myself. That's how much control I have right now. So you better be nicer to me, gentlemen. Let's. I think there's some clear choices here. SVG is on here. We have John Hunter Nemechek with Joe Gibbs, and then the two big names probably in the Cup Series for the full-time speak is Tyler Reddick and Kyle Busch. I want to go first on this one. I think it's Tyler Reddick. He elevated 2311 more than Kyle Busch elevated RCR. He got close to making the championship 4. He improved the 45. And he also, like, if you want to look at it, the team improved a lot. Bubba also did well. And I think getting Tyler in, like, look at Bubba at road courses. I think the influx of Tyler and how good he is at road courses helped with that. That team made such a big jump this year, and it adds to the signing of Tyler Reddick. And they have now 2 really foundational pieces at 23XI. So I'm going with Tyler Reddick.
Tyler.
Everyone
Actually,
agree?
go
Go ahead, Tom.
Yeah, I mean, he kind of gave Bubba a spark. I know Bubba didn't win, but I felt like he was helping Bubba.
Bubba had his best year, though, despite not
Exactly.
winning.
Even though he didn't win, he still got to 10th in points, made it to the round of 8. So, I mean, he definitely had a fantastic season. And then Reddick, I mean, won 2 races, almost made it to the final 4. He had a chance, but unfortunately did not get it done at Martinsville. But, I mean, great year. I think both the 23 and the 45 will win next year. And I both think they'll easily go deep into the playoffs.
Here's the thing about Kyle Busch. Kyle Busch was a great signing for RCR, but he didn't elevate Austin Dillon. Austin Dillon ended up with one of his worst years in the last several years running for RCR. And the 3 wins were a little bit deceiving because you look at his laps led, he ended up with only 241 laps led, not a really good total. And then 14th in the point standings. I believe that is his worst. I'm looking at his career stats right now. That might be his worst in the elimination style era. It actually is. And in fact, it's the worst finish for him in points since he was a rookie in 2005.
Wow. Look at Tom having a stat corner now. We all got
Tom Stat Corner.
Yeah, I'll close it out with Reddick too. If you'd asked me halfway through the season, it would have been Kyle Busch because he won 3 races right away, and a lot of people were picking him to win the championship or make the championship 4. They just fell apart at the end of the year. I think though that long term, both those signings, like we'll be comparing those 2 signings for several years to come. I think 1 year Reddick might get the jump, the next might be Kyle Busch, but for now it's Reddick.
Congratulations to Tyler Reddick, the Happy Hour signing of the year. Moving to our next award. How about this? Rookie/debut of the year. We'll go with the Cup Series Rookie of the Year, Mr. Ty Gibbs. 2 in the ARCA Series. Frankie Muniz, who had a really good year, was leading the ARCA points at one point. And William Sawalich for Joe Gibbs Racing in the ARCA Series. And then the man who won his first race in his debut race, if I can say that correctly. Dalton mentioned him a little bit earlier. Shane Van Gisbergen, SVG, for Trackhouse and Project 91. And I think this is the clear choice. Ty Gibbs is the Rookie of the Year, but we added debut in here. It has to be SVG, correct? Like I feel like this is this is a pretty easy decider.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be 1 for 1, and it was in a street race, of course.
Tom, you okay?
I can't use the camera well to just say I was trying to type. I was trying to like you out SVG, and instead I look like a total moron. So clearly not a good rookie debut for me on the award show, but it's SVG by a country mile, right? Like Ty Gibbs didn't win a race, SVG won a race. The other 2 maybe good in time. SVG might come in next year, win 5 or 6 races, and then be positioned for full-time Cup in 2025. And for him to do what he did in his debut, coming over from Australia with limited experience with that type of car, wow. Just wow.
Yeah, SVG, like, it's cooled off a little just because it's been several months since that race happened. But when that happened, it was SVG mania. Like, he was the talk of the town for weeks, months. And you're just seeing, like, what's he going to do? What's he going to do? Like, there hasn't been that much hype for a driver coming into Cup.
And then he came back at Indy, and he performed really well there.
Yeah, he backed it up for sure. If he could have had some cautions in that race, maybe he gets up there in that one too. But, yeah, the guy's the real deal. It'll be exciting to see what he does in the future. I mean, like, Ty Gibbs will win races as well.
Congratulations to SVG, the Happy Hour Award
Music's
for
playing.
debut of the year. I kind of just muted you off stage. You know, we're trying to run a tight ship here in the Happy Hour Award show. Moving to S Show of the Year. S Show of the Year. Everyone knows what
What does
that
that mean?
means.
What does that mean, Trey?
All right, Caleb, you're gonna have to bleep this. Shit Show of the Year. I actually
Show. It is a shit show.
I
An
actually
absolute
don't have to
show of the
bleep
year.
shit. I just realized that. Just saying. I
You
think
could have said poo.
Does that mean like the track's bathrooms weren't working?
something like that. Our nominees are, gentlemen,
For fecal
the
matter
entire
of the
truck
year.
series, the entire NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. We made a list, started our first nominees, and we listed about 5 or 6 truck races, and I just said, why don't we just nominate the entire series? COTA, the Cup race at COTA, and then 2 Xfinity races, Xfinity Martinsville with that wild ending and all the oil that it took that NASCAR had to go to Walmart and buy more Tide to clean the track overnight, and then Road America, which I will tell this story. Massey and I were covering that race at Richmond. Massey lives about 30 minutes from the track. Massey left the track after the Richmond truck race, drove home, drove to Best Buy, drove to Cookout, and had like a 2-hour break in between. Drove to Cookout to get us our dinner because whatever Richmond served was gross. Then drove back to the track about 45 minutes. And the race didn't finish.
Yeah,
That's how long it took.
I left my house at the start of overtime and pulled into the track as they were finishing overtime. Like that's how long it took. Yeah.
Gentlemen, what is your pick for the shit show of the year?
I mean, it was really close. Like, looking back at COTA for the Cup Series, like that was so bad with all the restarts and everything. But I mean, just the product that the Truck Series gives week in, week out is just so gross and it's so sad because it was used to be so amazing. And now it just sucks. It flat out sucks. So I got to go with the Truck Series.
Championship race of the Truck Series said it all. I think that series, which used to be the best of NASCAR's top 3 divisions, it's not necessarily that they need an overhaul. They just need people to behave. They need the kids to behave, and they need the veterans to act their age. It's really just that simple.
Yeah. It's a unanimous one, I think. When you pick an entire series instead of just one race, like that's got to be the choice, right? And I'm glad. Like it sucks the championship race went that way, but it was representative of the whole season. So like we deserved for the championship race to be like that.
Congratulations to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, the shit show Happy Hour Award for shit show of the year. Congratulations to the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. Bid Rhodes, you can accept that award. So as its champion, congratulations on that. Hey, we're getting through these awards. Couple more left. Dumbass of the year. Some nominations. Noah Gragson, for obvious reasons. Carson Hocevar for wrecking me, your mom, and every Craftsman Truck Series driver, and maybe even some Cup stars. Denny Hamlin, self-incriminating himself on a podcast that resulted in him losing 25 points and a fine, which maybe cost him the regular season championship. That was about his incident with Ross. And then Chase Elliott and his multiple suspensions, or not one suspension, and him breaking his leg while snowboarding. Go ahead. Who do you think deserves this award?
So I'm gonna go with the guy. I got the suspenders. I'm gonna go with the guy that got suspended, Chase Elliott. That was a dumb moment, wrecking Denny Hamlin. But snowboarding through his race was a dangerous activity. Lost himself a shot at the championship.
I want to change my choice now that Massey.
Same.
Really.
I agree. I'm with you.
We'll keep it because, listen, you couldn't really control breaking your leg, right? Stuff happens, but I just think Chase the whole year, to miss the playoffs after that and some of the things that happened running out of gas at Watkins Glen. Again, that one was as much Alan Gustafson's fault as his fault. But, some of the things that happened, getting suspended on track with what he did with Denny Hamlin at Charlotte, Chase is just off right now and not acting like a champion, just acting like someone that needs a total reset. And we'll see if he gets it.
Acting like a what?
I'm not going to go after NASCAR's most popular driver any more than that.
Say it, Tom. Tom, it's the award. You have to say it.
Knock on the door sometime soon. There might be a lot of angry people waving Napa hats. And
I don't. Chase Elliott. Brian, are you picking Chase too?
Yeah, he was a
All right.
dumbass.
All right. Tom doesn't have the balls to say it, but congratulations to Chase Elliott, the dumbass of the year. Come on, Tom. You're about to get so many strikes. This was all Tom Bull's idea. This award, that specific award, all Tom Bull's idea.
He was not the smartest person in the garage. He wasn't. He could have done some things better.
All right, at NASCAR Bulls, that's who you want to target. Any hate about that award. Moving to our next award. I think this is a fun one. Breakup of the year. If Taylor Swift made a song about this season, it could be about these nominees because that's all she writes is breakup songs. Austin Creed with RCR or Austin Creed. Sheldon Creed with Austin Hill and RCR. Sammy Smith and Joe Gibbs Racing, which was kind of the when he said, I don't have a teammate at Phoenix, he said that at the same race as the Sheldon Creed incident, by the way. You can hear that exclusive part at frontstretch.com or youtube.com/frontstretch. How about that? Colleague and Justin Haley, also Chandler Smith and his buyout, and a unique one. If the incident at Martinsville didn't happen, I would pick LMC and more importantly, Jimmy Johnson in Chevrolet. Obviously, LMC going to a Toyota. I think that's a really unique one because Jimmy has been so tied to the bow tie for so long, and now he's leaving it for Toyota. And Toyota, we have not seen a move like this since obviously SHR went to Ford. And so, gentlemen, what do you think is the breakup of the year?
I mean, it has to be Creed and Austin with RCR. I mean, it kind of was rolling down the hill, and then it really escalated at Bristol, and then it just absolutely exploded like a lit balloon at Martinsville. And so it has to be that, in my opinion.
Snowball effect, explosive ending. They'll be rivals next year in the Xfinity Series. Can't wait for that. Two different teams. Just the way it changed the entire championship picture at Martinsville. You couldn't ask for a juicier Xfinity story than that. I thought the Xfinity Series was the best of the three series this year, and stories like that were the reason why.
Well, I think the best part to me, you had Childress say stuff. You had Petrie, you had Austin Hill, all of them throw Creed under the bus. And I get, emotions get the best of you in the moment. But then the next week, when I went to talk to Austin Hill, and I was like, is that water under the bridge now? And he had a chance to back it up. Instead, he doubled down. He was like, I was showing him how to race a teammate, which you can watch that video on the Front Stretch YouTube page as well. But yeah, so it carried over. That breakup is going to last a long time.
Congratulations to Sheldon Creed, Austin and RCR, the happy hour breakup of the year. Our final award's got some Front Stretch spice to it. The Front Stretch happening of the year. And I am going to skip the nominees because there's only one clear one, and it's because he was a guest on this podcast. So, the Front Stretch happening of the year is a clear one. Drum roll, please. I teased it as our guest, Mr. Josh Williams at Atlanta, giving the big old bird to the well, he didn't give a bird. He gave what? The heart. Yeah, he gave a heart to the NASCAR tower. As I don't know how that happened.
Wow. What just happened there?
But Josh Williams.
Am I hallucinating?
Heart to NASCAR, and he parked it right on the Front Stretch. It's the clear choice. Congratulations, Josh Williams. The Front Stretch happening of the year, the final Happy Hour Award for the Happy Hour Award Show. And that will do it for the first edition of the Happy Hour Award Show. We want to thank everyone for joining in for this first-time podcast this year. We'll be back in 2024 for some more spice. Maybe we'll throw in a Christmas episode of this. You never know. So stick to the podcast feed. Connect with us at M_Manessy22, at the Brian Nolan, at NASCAR Bulls and me, at Trey Lyle VT Plus, at Front Stretch, frontstretch.com. Like and subscribe, youtube.com/Front Stretch. Also, stick to our podcast feed. We will still have the Pitch Straight, Jack Swansea, Alex Gintz, recapping Formula One in Las Vegas, plus the rest of the Formula One season. So we'll have some great podcasts throughout the rest of the season. You can go back, listen to all our interviews throughout the year from Brian's podcast, Bringing the Heat, plus the great podcast we had with Happy Hour. So make sure you like and subscribe. Leave that 5-star review. Thank you so much for everyone listening this year for the Happy Hour podcast. We are signing off for 2023, at least for now. We might be back before 2024, but see you soon. Adios.